Yo, what's good? YouTube, what's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, our call-in show for Sunday mornings on this Sunday, December 19th, 2021, just a few days before Christmas, and we are back. This is episode number 20, and we are here to talk about it and catch up on the sport of boxing, because that's what we do here on the channel. I want to say salute to Mr. Gumbo out there who wanted to make his presence felt this morning with his super chat. Salute to you, Mr. Gumbo. He says, I'm pouring juice on Stormy B-Man's piano and dropping Tay Jones' bowling ball head on it to break it. Now see, that's Mr. Gumbo coming in here, carrying over some stuff from yesterday, but he don't realize that Tay and I have already contacted rehab, and they'll be taking Mr. Gumbo away pretty soon. So don't worry about it, everybody. Everything's under control. Back to the show. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone this morning to the call-in show. And we are here, man. Glad to see everybody out there. We're gonna go over some fights that took place this weekend, and talk about whatever's on your mind, because it's a few days before Christmas, and we can just kick it, with the call-in show this morning. And I'm kind of a little distracted, fellas and ladies out there, because the Stormy B-Man body is sore, man. I did something yesterday I wasn't supposed to do, man. I was out there. I got a a sun porch on my garage, which the roof of the sun porch portion of it is flat. And a few days ago, we had a real bad windstorm. And I know KQKC, salute to KQ out there being in Chicago. He may know exactly what I'm talking about. A few days ago, last Friday, we had a severe windstorm, and it lifted the tarp on the top of my sunroof, man. So I had to get up there and try to flatten it back down, right? And that thing is very heavy. I got up there, man. I was trying to push it down with my legs and everything, and it felt like I had been in one of Drew Titan's workouts. You know what I'm saying? Because the muscles definitely weren't up for that. And I woke up this morning, my legs felt like I had spent some days and days in the gym. So I'm a little bit in pain this morning. I told you guys I ain't no spring chicken no more. I'm a sprung chicken now. So, ready for the pastures almost, the way I feel. But we're going to get through this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get through it. So, welcome everybody. We're going to do a little bit of a roll call. We had King _ Jr. out there saying, salute Stormy B-Man in chat. Appreciate your great content. Appreciate you, King Jr. Jose Diaz is out there saying, salute Stormy B-Man in chat. OG Eric in St. Louis, salute Stormy B. K-Rod is out there saying, what's up, Stormy? I hear you out there, K-Rod, talking about Bud Crawford, man. I heard you out there on some of them airwaves, man. What's up with that? But anyway, welcome. And J. Wayne Citizen, channel members out there saying, morning, everyone. Morning to you. Mr. Pads is back saying, salute. Excited for the show. Appreciate you. CB Sports TV is out there. He says, salute Stormy B-Man. Salute to you as well, bro. I hope everything's going well with you and your family and the new addition. Who else we got out here? Mr. Pass saying, Stormy B-Man, I hope Spider-Man was good if you saw it. Yeah, man. I saw it, man. I was there, man. Let me tell you something. That kind of stuff brings back my childhood, man. That's what keeps Stormy young, because I like movies. I get into things. I have various hobbies and interests, music. I'm kind of a Renaissance guy when it comes to that stuff. And you have to learn how to take all of that in, and keep yourself young in that regard. Salute to Mr. Gumbo again in that super chat saying, this is for some Bengay with your butt. Okay. Salute to Mr. Gumbo again out there, that super chat. And you know, I am going to take that up on that. You know, the Bengay will be on the way. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. I appreciate you, Mr. Gumbo. Spirit is out there saying there's a storm coming. And in the waters, in waves, there's a big shark. Oh, here we go. More talking crap out there. Mr. Paz is saluting. Players Ball is out there saying peace. Salute to Stormybman. Mr. Paz is laughing. He says, I did like the Parker Chisora fight, but the other fights on the card were underwhelming. Yeah, some of the undercards for this weekend, the Bitter Beef card and everything, man, a cure for insomniacs everywhere. You put that on tape and sell it to folks. They'll go to sleep real quick. And who else we got? We got Andrew Charles out there. He says, salute Stormy, salute to you, bro. And we all caught up with the chat. Yeah, another interesting weekend of bouts. The main events didn't disappoint, not too much, and as it was just spoken by Mr. Paz, those undercards left a lot to be desired, man. But I guess they were just trying to get it in before the holidays, because nobody really wants to fight between Christmas and New Year's, because that's the time you spend with your family. You eat, you do your thing, you know what I'm saying? So I expect the next fights we see will be after the first of the year. But I know they may have something very small coming up, but it'll be what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's one of the things that we can always talk about being out here on the airwaves. We can pick and choose our battles. And I spoke with Reggie last night, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, and we were talking about now we want to start turning a focus on something else. And the fact that they're trying to feed us non-pay-per-view worthy fights as pay-per-view. We gotta stop that train right away, man, because only a couple of fights that we saw over this last quarter were maybe considered pay-per-view, or at least a co-main to a pay-per-view. But we can't allow them to start just taking everything and putting it on pay-per-view, man, thinking that we're just going to buy it. You know what I mean? So people, I'm sounding the charge to practice some discretion in your love for the sport, because everything is not pay-per-view. It really isn't. And they're robbing you when they do that, because the money that they can't make from the fighters that they say don't sell and this and that, they're going to try to make it up off of your backs by putting it as a pay-per-view match. And you have the right to say, no, my dollars won't go. So that's just something I wanted to put out there for you guys in that regard. Michael James 616 says, the mic is kind of loud. Well, isn't that a good thing? I mean, most times you guys are complaining you can't hear people, right? So I ain't going to mess with the mic. You might want to turn your device down a little bit, because if I go to messing with the mic, then other things going to happen and people going to be like, can't hear you. Where you at? What happened? Is Stormy still there? And all of that. I ain't going through that, man. It's the season of cheer, huh? So turn it down a little bit on your end, and I'll keep it rolling on mine, because I don't want to mess with the dynamics of things. Told you guys I'm kind of old, man. You get these devices, you try to have it set. It still didn't play right for me on the intro, because the intro was kind of on my end lagging and stuff, and speeding up and lagging. I'm like, what the hell? It wasn't doing that when I was running my pre-show test, you know? So these kind of things happen, man. And just know that, I ain't perfect in this. I be trying, but I ain't, I be trying to make it nice for you guys. But don't ask for too much, because I ain't going to be able to deliver. So I'm just being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So With that being said, man, we're going to get into some conversation. Talk a little bit of boxing. Talk about what you want to talk about. Huh? Somebody want to ask me some more questions about Spider-Man? I'll be happy to talk about that. I really enjoyed that, man. I was like a kid when it comes to that stuff, I tell you. And I'm glad I still have that, man. I wouldn't want to lose that for nothing in the world. You know what I mean? Sit back, put some of that being gay on that Mr. Gumbo bought me, and hey, I'm gonna be cool. Got some popcorn. You know, that's what we'll do. But yeah, man, we're going to go ahead and open the lines up right away. I won't take too much of time talking about my ailments and everything. We can start getting some people to call in and have some discussion, man. That's what this is about. You know what I mean? Being out here today and doing our thing. Michael James says that Thurman fight, nor the Ortiz is worth pay-per-view. Yeah, I see. That's what I'm talking about. A bunch of guys who've been knocked out on pay-per-view. No, and I ain't buying it. I ain't gonna buy that. I want to see the fights because there's gonna be some more than fools getting knocked out. But I ain't paying no pay-per-view for that crap, man. No way. Okay, we got 518 in the building. 518. I think this is K-Rod, if I ain't mistaken. What's good? Good morning. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Stormy? I have a lot to say, but I'll probably talk about last night's fights. I also wanted to probably give a shout out to two fighters. Camila Panada and Giovanni Estella. Those are two fighters that fight down in Florida, I believe. But they got their wins last night. And I would have to say some of those cards were pretty good. I was pretty devastated by Marcus Brown losing to Beterbiev. And I thought, as far as like the other fights go, with David Morrell and Alonso Fox, that was a great fight. And I'd say the other one with Amanda Serrano and Miriam Gutierrez, that was a good fight as well.
Now, you said you were kind of disappointed that Marcus Brown didn't defeat Beterbiev. K-Rod?
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Why is that? Why were you disappointed?
Well, I thought Marcus Brown did what he had to do early game, but I thought those punches from Beterbiev got the best of him. That made him break down in the fight. And I thought Marcus Brown was just giving Beterbiev a lot of open shots to break him down in the fight altogether. Therefore, he gave Beterbiev a lot of opportunities to hurt him, which led to him to getting stopped.
Well, this is the thing about that. I can understand, like, if you were just riding with Brown and you wanted to see him be successful. But I'm going to take you to a comment that just popped up in the chat there by J. Wayne Citizen. And his comment states simply that Marcus Brown never had a chance. And I tried to tell people that. When he signed for the fight, it was over for him because people don't respect their lack of knowledge of boxing. When you see these guys that are not proven, tried and true fighters from the root to the fruit, they're not versed or practiced or studied up, as I like to say, in the sport of boxing. and you cannot go in there against someone that is, and also formidable and extremely strong on their end as well, it's a recipe for disaster. And it's only a matter of time how that person is going to, end up in that particular matchup. I knew what was going to happen to Marcus Brown. Artur Beterbiev is no joke. He's not. And he's good. But he's not just a tough, strong man. He's a skilled, practiced man. His abilities are above a lot of his contemporaries. When you saw him beat up Andres Gavaskit, that was no mere just victory of a strong guy beating up another good fighter. No. Gavaskit was a beast himself. And he got destroyed by Artur Beterbiev. I had Artur Beterbiev in my Thunderous top 10 a couple of years ago. And it was only due to a little bit of inactivity, not all on his own doing, that he fell out of that. But I'm going to ensure that I find a way to put him right back in there, because he's an accomplished fighter. And with the minimum amount of professional victories on hand, he's done some things that just can't be, you can't deny. The guy is good. I got a pop-up that came up on my screen again. This has done this before. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get rid of this thing. Why is this doing this? This happened once before. Bear with me, family. I just got to get this off of my screen. Because it's making everything else freeze up. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm sorry. It took me a second to get that pop-up off my screen. It's like another folder or something that comes up for Microsoft, and I don't know how to stop that from coming up during my live broadcast. It always irks me when that happens. But yeah, so that's what I was trying to say about that, K-Rod. Marcus Brown he's a good fighter. I will never say he's not. He's a good fighter. But he is not on that level. There's not a lot of guys in the light heavyweight division that are on that level. The one guy who was Beterbiev beat already, and that was Gavaskit. Andres Gavaskit. That guy. Now, Bivol is not on that level. The newcomer that just came up from 168, Zerto might be, but after watching Zerto in his rough fight last night against Gonzalez, who doesn't have nowhere near the skill set of Artur Beterbiev, I have concerns for Zerto now, because he got beat up a little bit in that fight, even though he won. But, dude, I'm sorry. It's looking bleak for those guys at light heavy, because you got some good fighters, man. Got some good fighters out there that could get rid of this dude. I mean, that Beterbiev could get rid of these dudes. So I don't know. But the women's fight was very good. I mean, they did very well. I was very impressed. This young lady, Sinisa Estrada, boy, she's a handful, and she had a great outing last night. Look forward to seeing her again, and she's knocked down or out her last 7 opponents. It's like she's a star, and that's minimum weight for the ladies, 105, 112 pounds. It's like that's some tiny ladies, man, throwing down. And she's putting people on the canvas. So that means she can punch. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting to see in this last quarter of the year, the ladies take that full step forward. And I salute to Knockout Boxing and KQ. They were talking about that on their show. This resurgence of women in the sport of boxing. It's looking great, looking awesome. And I can't wait to see the next ladies match, because this is what we want to see, right? We want to see this action. We want to see them. We want to see them get their compensation and pay as well. We don't want them to be doing all of this and not being equally compensated, you know. So that's one of the things we want to look at too. But what else were you touching on about yesterday?
Yeah, like I wanted to just touch base on the Amanda Serrano Gutierrez fight. I thought that fight was a complete mismatch, and I thought Amanda was basically on the verge of stopping her, but she did what she had to do, and she put on a good performance. But I think as far as if like the Katie Taylor fight is made next, I think Amanda stops her.
Yeah, well, this is the thing about that. See, she's got this big fight on the horizon with Katie Taylor. So, quite naturally, as guys like to use the term trap fight, this was a trap fight for Serrano, just like Katie's fight last week was a trap fight for her, because they got this big fight on the horizon between the two of them. So they both had trepidation. Yet they wanted to go in and win impressively and look good, but it's hard to do that when you feel pressed that you got to do that. You know, now it's out of the way, it's on to the big fight. But I think that's what that was all about, because Katie's fight was a little bit of a stinker too, you know, and now that they have cleared the path and they're going to go ahead and face one another, I think now, you know, the jitters about fighting each other, all of that'll be a part of what's going forward. But they just wanted to get those victories out of the way. And I'm glad that they did it the way they did it, because they both fought within the same month, a few weeks apart. So there's no excuses going into their match about I had a long layoff, or I had this or that, or, you know, injuries and stuff like that. They got through it. Now they can have their big fight. So that's the way I look at that.
Do you think that fight should be on a big card, like a PBC or like what a top rank card, or?
I don't know how they're gonna promote that as them being the main event, or if it's gonna be a co-main or something like that. I just want it to happen, and I want it to be where it's accessible, where people can see it. They will probably stick it on a pay-per-view card, which is unfortunate, because you saw what the Michaela Meyer fight did for Meyer when she fought that lady from France, and it was on ESPN. You saw that, and it's like, man, you know, people tuned in and they were talking about that fight the next day. You know what I mean? And that's the type of promotion boxing needs. Everything is not pay-per-view, regardless of who's fighting and how big the fight might be. Everything is not pay-per-view. You have to build toward pay-per-view. You don't just put it on pay-per-view. Oh, this is Tank and this guy, he's on pay-per-view. It's like, where's the build-up? Where's the desire to make me want to feel the need to spend my money? Not just because it's boxing. I can go watch some tapes of old Tank fights, or watch some fights that I taped from a while that I didn't get a chance to watch yet. And you want to put something on pay-per-view that's not pay-per-view worthy, I'm going to keep my money in my pocket. And I opened the show talking about that because I'm a person like you guys. I don't think I need to be paying pay-per-view every 2 weeks on a damn fight that should be on a Saturday afternoon. You know, it's like they need to stop this foolishness, man. And as long as people continue to reach it, okay, reaching how much is it? You know, reaching your wallet, and they're gonna keep doing it to you. So no, I don't think they should, you know, just make every damn fight. But however they promote that fight, they have to make it as accessible as possible in order for it to be as lucrative as possible. That's the way I think. And if they just want to call themselves sticking it on a pay-per-view, that's telling you that they're more about trying to get your money than trying to give you the best fights, because the real boxing followers, they know who these two ladies are and how big this fight is. So they know you know you're gonna tune into it. But it's the other part of the audience that it's like that can help grow the sport. You know what I mean? And if they don't optimize that the correct way, it's going to be a disaster. And that'll give them a reason and an excuse to tell you all, well, see, the ladies don't sell. You know? And you definitely shouldn't go for that BS. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts on that there. And K-Rod, you can call back in, man. I'm gonna open the line up again because we might have some other people that wanna call in, and I know you're a mainstay, so you can call back. Let's just see if some other people want to call in and get the conversation moving, because some people will drop off if we stay on too long and this and that, lose interest or whatever. So
okay, all right, sounds like a plan.
Okay, thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
It took a moment to disconnect. Okay, you had the first call of the day from K-Rod, the phone man. Anybody else want to call in? We just opened the line up. Salute to everybody that I didn't catch while I was speaking with K-Rod. We had some people come into the building. We had TS Boxing. My man Tyrone is out there. Who else did we got? That's Me is out there. He says, when Marcus Brown got that cut, he was done. Game plan out the window. Yeah, he need to stop trying to headbutt people and everything and hitting them low and all of that. Otherwise, he going to be made to pay in his own way. Jay Gibson is back, saying salute to Stormybman and the fam. Salute to you. Michael James 616 says, Bitter Beef is not underrated, just not well known. There you go. Speak that truth, brother. Speak that truth. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see who else we got out there. That's Me says, I wonder what Arthur could do at cruiserweight. Don't worry about cruiserweight. Let him finish off these meals that he have before him at light heavy. That's what should happen. You guys always want to move somebody up to another weight class or something once they start killing people. Okay, we got 443 in the building. Who's calling? Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
TS Boxing, man. What's up? It's me.
Hey, what's good with you?
Stormy?
What's good with you?
Yeah, I'm good. Just want to talk this boxing talk with you. I've never called in before on your channel, so I figured I'd try it.
Okay. And you say your name again, please, because I didn't hear you clearly.
Tyrone, TS Boxing.
Oh, TS. Oh, Tyrone. For some reason, you don't sound the same over this. You know, because you're calling in
really?
through this is a web
people
call.
Say that, but that could be an issue with my mic on my computer.
Okay.
But yeah, man.
How you doing? It's been a minute since we spoke.
Yeah. Just I've been listening to you on your live streams and everything like that. Just been enjoying the boxing.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
Man, so I want to talk about the Brown fight, the Viterbi fight.
Yeah.
So I was in your live a couple of days ago, and I was like, I mean, I do believe Beterbiev isn't. I think he's on the down end with the age. Like, I've seen him slow down a lot because when I first saw him was against DeVorce Cloud, the Jeff Page Jr. fight, what else? Callum Johnson fight, then Rico Coling, Dean. So I've seen like over half of his fights, like a lot of his fights, and he's not the same guy who fought Cloud. I thought, but I think it's because of age. But with Brown was looking for a way out, 100%. I mean, the moment in this, the time he went down the second time, right? I mean, the moment he did that little puffy face, that puppy face or whatever he did, and he whimpered, and he tried to look over to Derek James for help to get him to stop it. No, you make that decision. And I slammed my laptop shut. I knew he wasn't going to get up because he didn't want it anymore. He was done. So,
well,
he only has himself to blame for that.
Well, let me say this, and I'm gonna bring it around to the point that you try to make about Beterbiev, slowing down, changing, whatever you want to say. Did you ever notice, if you follow Floyd Mayweather Jr., I'm using him as an example here to make my point. Did you ever notice that the transition from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, and what the transition actually was, other than just the name and the principle? Did you notice that when observing his career?
I mean, I was a bit younger, but looking back at it around the De La Hoya fight, he talked about how his hands was hurting him, but he was definitely more defensive minded. He wasn't in the pocket as much, only with guys he could get away with that with. So he was using more of his knowledge.
No, actually, that's incorrect. He went after people. When he was Pretty Boy, he beat people up. He beat people up. Yes, he had hand issues and everything, and he was able to overcome that and get treatment and different types of hand wraps and gloves and things like that. But Floyd was beating people up, man. He was beating them up. Diego Corrales, R.I.P. to him, he's not around to tell you how Floyd beat him up. Castillo could tell you how Floyd beat him up, okay? And the thing about it is, once Floyd got to a place where he was really comfortable in his ability, and it takes a while for that. Too many of these guys of today think they comfortable in their abilities and still getting their asses whooped and knocked out. But Floyd understood things. And just as Andre Berto spoke about him, talking about, I never saw a fighter who was so aware of everything going on in the ring all at one time, plus fighting me. He talked about Floyd's acknowledgement of time, distance, and space within a round against an opponent. How he could be observant of the clock, how he could be observant of your breathing and things like that. This is all experience, right? And when you're really good or you're exceptional, you can take advantage of those things because you're aware of them, but your opponent isn't. He isn't as schooled and practiced as you are. So you can turn things on its end to their disadvantage for not being as focused and dialed in as you are. Now, that's my example for Floyd, and I'm going to bring it back home to Artur Beterbiev. When Artur, in his early fights, he was expending energy. He was going out there, blowing people out and doing things because as a talent, that's what he could do. But now, even with, because he had a big amateur career, right? Let's not forget that he's one of those guys that had a big amateur career. But now, in these last 4 to 5 fights, he understands something. He has the ability to hurt people. He don't have to go out there and overextend and overexpend. He can set traps. He can wait. He can allow guys to get to rounds. Because what happens in the fight, you get tired. You're not as fresh in round 7 as you were in round 2. Okay? And when you're in there with a guy who can apply pressure like he applies it, mental breakdown is more than physical breakdown, because if the body says, if the mind says, I can't do it, what is the body gonna do? Not do it. Huh? I was up on my roof yesterday. My mind was saying, I can do it. But then I realized I couldn't do it. And then my body said, you ain't gonna do it. And now I'm sitting up here today with aches and pains. You see, it's all relative in the sport of boxing about mental and physical. Arthur understands his physicality, but now it's becoming mental. Remember, Brown tried his usual dirty tactics: elbows, headbutts, low blows. Mm-hmm. He tried it against a guy who didn't give a damn. Yeah, against a guy who didn't care that he might be bleeding like a pig, like Badou Jack was, huh? Against a guy who, when he got low blows, got mad and frustrated like Pascal did, huh? Brown realized, oh, this dude is on a different level. And then when he tried to box, because he tried, he realized, oh, I don't know what to do. I can't get away from the guy. Now the mind is playing tricks on him. Now he's saying to himself, holy boo-boo, I can't get it done. Huh? So when he took the body shot the first time, he went down, he was huffing because he was, being put in that position. The pressure was mounting. Then he got up because he's supposed to, and he said, well, I'm going to try some more. But when he started going back to those ropes, Tyrone, and putting his guard up like this, he was figuring, maybe I'll let him punch a little bit, then I'll counter. But then he realized, shit, he ain't stopping. He's still punching. He was too dumb, Brown, with ring IQ, not to understand that I got to reach out and tie this guy up. Stop the momentum. Let the ref come and break us and separate us, and I turn him around, and then I go back out into the center of the ring. I got to keep my butt off these ropes. I got to keep the fight in the center of the ring. That was nowhere to be found with Brown. But guess what? I knew these things about Brown before they fought. Why didn't Derek James know that? I'm not saying he didn't, but he definitely didn't put him in the position to be away from those doggone ropes that was going to be the end of him. And when he went down that second time, he was broken. But that was just a foregone conclusion, because James should have saw that in his eyes in between rounds before he got to that point. And I talked about the fight being stopped 2 to 3 rounds before then, because it's different when you realize you can't win the fight. That's why I didn't like the Badou Jack fight. How what's his name? The coach of Badou Jack, Lou DeVille. Thank you. When he just let the fight go on and on, because Badou Jack, as good a fighter as he is, he was not going to win the fight because the cut was too bad. It was too much of a distraction for Jack, and Jack didn't have the equalizer. He didn't have a knockout punch. So you're going to go 12 rounds. I think he got cut in the early rounds like Bitterbeef did.
Yeah, 5, I think. 5.
And it's like, this cut is too bad. We come back and fight another day. Didn't Badou Jack just getting ready to have another fight or just had a fight? It's like, that's what I'm talking about. You're going to live to fight another day. Your corner can stop it and say, hey, our cut is too bad. We're going to get this fixed and we'll come back another day. He went 12 rounds with that punishment, getting hit on that cut, hit on that cut, hit on that cut. And even though it's healed now, you can't hardly even see it was there, whatever you had, plastic surgery, whatever. You still do a great service to the fighter for mental conditioning to take him out of that situation, because he's a warrior. He's a fighter. He gets in there. That's what his job is, to be a warrior. So you have to save the warrior for themselves and allow them to remain a warrior. You take them out of the combat. When the U.S. send their troops to go fight, those guys are supposed to put their lives on the line. That's what they know how to do, because that's what it's supposed to be. But when the president say, hey, bring our troops home, some of them may still want to fight. But at least he's pulling them out of the conflict and taking the onus off of them, instead of them running from the conflict, right, that they can't win. You see? That's the difference. And Bitterbeef understood that he had to turn the pressure up a little faster than he was probably going to do normally because of the cut. But you notice there was only, when it initially happened, the first couple of rounds, that they were thinking about stopping it. But because he turned the heat up a certain kind of way on his own accord, they were like, we can't stop this fight now because this guy's cooking. You see? Mental conditioning. This is what I'm talking about. These guys of today, they would do a great service to themselves to study Bitterbeef. Guys like Bitterbeef and what they do and why they are successful. Bitterbeef would have fought that fight with one arm.
Yeah.
That's who he is. But these other guys, they think they tough. You know what it reminds me of? These young punks in the street running around today. They tough because they got a pistol on them. But they keep a pistol on them because they scared to take an ass whooping in the street. Anybody can pull a trigger, but everybody can't throw them hands. Perfect analogy, because here you got guys who are pretenders in a sport that you can be found out very easily. Now you say you think he quit. He couldn't go on.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he couldn't go on, that's for certain, because he realized the deck was stacked too much against him. That deck was stacked so much against him when they offered him that fight, or whoever offered who to fight, because now everybody is talking about the challengers are offering the champions fights and stuff. I don't know, but anyway, that's a fight they should have turned down. Because Brown would have had a better Brown would have had a better opportunity against a Joe Smith or somebody like that. Seriously.
Well, apparently he was ranked 10 after he lost to Pascal. He had that tune-up fight with that bum. I don't know however long ago that was. In between, and then all of a sudden he jumped to number 1 in the WBC out of nowhere, and they made the fight, I guess, for him, and I guess he took it. I'm just sort of, I thought that he had the tools, and you could see it, that he had the tools to box him up, but the mindset and the game plan wasn't there, and the guy in front of him wasn't going anywhere anyway. So when he saw the pressure was coming on, he did the whole, shoulder roll, duck under, and then come in with the head. If you notice, he was punching on the break a lot. Like one time I remember around round 2, they were in the clinch, and he let off like 9 punches to his body, like thinking they'll do something. I mean, that did absolutely nothing. This guy is like made from steel.
No, it's not. It's not that, Ty. It's not that. It's not that he's made from steel. He's a human being. You saw him bleeding. So he's no man of steel. But his conviction is on a different level. Conviction. He took a low blow, an elbow, and a headbutt from Brown and never blinked.
No.
That's the type of thing. And you think it hurt? Of course it hurt him, but he's not going to show you it hurt him. But he's going to come at you because he knows that the more that he comes at you, the more mental games it plays with your psyche, that you aren't conditioned and prepped to go where you got to go. Now, when you said you thought he had the tools, I never thought he had the tools to beat Bev. He has some boxing ability, but he doesn't have the complete tool set. I'll tell you what I mean. Let's shrink the bodies down to a lower weight class, 140 pounds, let's say. When Julio Cesar Chavez fought Pernell Whitaker, Chavez was known to have a chin of stone. You know, they couldn't knock him out. Had never been knocked down or anything in 70-something fights. But when he got in there with Sweet Pea wasn't afraid of him. But he had the talent to do things to Chavez that made Chavez uncomfortable. He could stick him. He could move. He could turn him. Never ran from him. On certain moments in the round, he was set down on his punches. And the punches that he sat down on, that he threw with conviction on his own accord, were never to Chavez's head. It was to his body. Okay? And then he get out of there and make Chavez have to reset and follow him around some more. And in that instance, he took any strength that Chavez had going in as a potential advantage. He took that off the table. Now Chavez got to make some adjustments to defeat him. Things that put him in a position that he's never been put in before. And Sweet Pea won that fight, and the judges still stole it from him because it went the distance, and it was in Texas, a huge Latin following there, and they scored it as a draw. That fight was not a draw. You go back and watch that fight. Sweet Pea just totally outclassed him because he had the tools. Now, when you talk about a fighter having the tools, this is what you call 5 dimensions in boxing. You have the mental acumen, you have the physical acumen, you have the technical acumen, you have ring generalship, and then the intangible of what your personal convictions are and desire to want to persevere and prevail. Those things are what add up to the difference of someone being victorious and not. And if Chavez had made an adjustment to come at Sweet Pea a different type of way, Sweet Pea would have made an adjustment to that. That's what fighters like that do. That's why I could say that Marcus Brown wasn't ready for this. He couldn't get out of those right hands, get out of the way of those right hands from Pascal. How you going to get away from Bitter Beef? 2 different styles, but yet and still the punches landed all the same. Did you notice that once that Bitter Beef started hitting him, how he was busting up? Because as I said, that's where that physical strength comes in. The guy is like George Foreman used to be when George Foreman was a young man, heavyweight division, brutalizing everybody. That's the difference. Ali wasn't brutalized, was he? Because he was a different man of conviction. He had a different skill set. He had a different mentality. And he was capable, and he wasn't afraid. So those are the things that are telltale signs. Too many of these guys want to just go with somebody because I like this guy, or we talked to K-Rod earlier. He was just saying he was disappointed in Brown. Well, you should have been disappointed in Brown before Friday night, not Friday night. And I talked about the guy. I said he's got some personal problems. But at the same time, when it comes to boxing, somebody ain't never told him what he needed to hear. And it sounds harsh. But if you have a great mentor, your great mentor should be harsh on you because they're only trying to pull the best they can out of you. If they make excuses and provisions for you, you don't have space to grow. You living inside your own world, which is your own skull. But there's supposed to be space in there to absorb information in order for you to learn. That's why I be hard on these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he goes from here, really. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who on the PBC side really can fight at 175? I mean, he's probably going to be on the shelf for a while.
Well, the thing is like everybody has their time. This happens to be Bitter Beef's time. Now, there may be a guy come along that we don't even know about that has the ability to rise to the occasion and can possibly outpoint him, frustrate him, you know, and go the distance and pull out a victory. I'm not saying he's unbeatable. I'm not saying he's indestructible, but I'm saying for right now, he's on a different level than his contemporaries. And that happens from time to time. Look at Roy Jones. Roy Jones was on a different level, wasn't he, for a while? Then all of a sudden, along comes Antonio Tarver and Glencoff Johnson and all these other dudes. And it's like, okay, Roy's era is over now. It happens.
Yeah.
Especially if you stay in the sport long enough.
Yeah, definitely. What other boxer was on? The heavyweight fight. I think I saw that. I saw some clips of that. Some people were upset about the judging. What did you think about the fight?
Which fight?
The heavyweight fight, the Parker one.
Oh, man. One guy can't fight no more, and the other guy don't want to fight. Two guys in there that shouldn't be in there. Joseph Parker, man, what the hell? I don't know what this guy is doing. You know, he ransomed his belt to AJ and has fought subpar ever since, almost apologetically that he doesn't want to show more than what's there. Derek Chisora is shot. He's been shot for a moment, but I have to admit that he got in the best shape that he had been in recent years because there was no flab on his body. He was tight. His body was tight. And with that conditioning that he had, maybe a little extra something in there too, it allowed him to go the distance. But what I noticed about him being a shot fighter is at one instance, and I kind of spoke about this last night with Reggie on my post-fight show, at one instance, he'll take a solid shot, boom, and keep fighting. Then on another instance, he'll take a glancing blow and be wobbling all over the place or even going down. So it's like, that's a shot fighter, bro. Because the brain doesn't know the difference between danger and no danger. You know, when you have all your faculties, you can adjust by bracing yourself and having some kind of way of defending. Did you notice that every time he put his hand up to block Parker's uppercut, it got through?
Yeah, that cross.
It got through.
That cross defense. Yeah,
that's a shot fighter, bro. Because he ain't putting his hand in the proper position and the punch is still landing. That's mechanics. That's when you're, listen, they give you a test, okay, where they have you extend your arms out and touch your nose. Ali,
right,
before he fought Ken Norton the third time, he had to take that exam. He missed his nose every time. Every time. You extend your arms out to the sides like that and touch your nose. Every time he did it, he missed his nose. That's when a fighter is shot, bro. But these are the kind of things, like I said, I can tell you this stuff. I know about this, but it's like people out here that don't know these things and call themselves training fighters. Derek Chisora is shot. And you hear Ed Hearn in the post-fight saying that stupid stuff about, oh, he could beat Deontay Wilder, especially if he could get him within 5 rounds. Okay.
That's why, me personally, I mean, you know my view on the whole Deontay situation. There's no need to come back and fight for second and third and fourth place with these guys. Let them keep talking about him, and he can move on from this, because all these fights out there for him right now are net negatives anyway. Even if he beats them, they won't give him any credit. So, I mean, Eddie Hearn is just, I mean, he doesn't feel any bad jumping on somebody to come out with whatever he says. I take whatever he says with a grain of salt.
Of course. But listen to the ignorance. Chisora just lost. Parker was the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not talking about, let's see Parker and Wilder?
Well, he did this before Deontay lost, too. He was talking
No,
about
but I'm just saying,
Wilder.
you see what he does? That's the same thing, because it's more like just ridiculing Wilder and putting him down more than anything. It's not even the fact that he wants the fight to happen. It's just the ignorance that these people reflect. Let me get to the super chat really quick. We had Pete Davenport in the super chat. Appreciate you, Pete. He says, I believe the fix was in. Arthur was too slow and Derek James too smart not to have a strategy for what I seen Friday. And the stocks is just higher to keep Arthur in play for a Canelo fight, a bigger draw. Pete Davenport, go sit down, F+. If you think that Canelo Alvarez wants to get in there with Arthur Beterbiev, I got some real estate to show you off the coast of Lake Michigan here. It's right out in the center, just in the distance. And I think it's a great place to, lay a foundation, build upon, and you'll be good to go. Canelo ain't thinking about Arthur Beterbiev. If he ain't thinking about David Benavidez, who is no Arthur Beterbiev, he damn sure ain't thinking about Arthur. He was thinking about Bivol, and Bivol just showed you a couple weeks ago against Solomar why. Bivol is really a oversized 168-pounder. He's not a true light heavyweight, and when he was in there with one in his last fight with Solomon, he showed it. He wasn't strong enough to handle the guy and everything. He got the victory. But that guy wasn't motivated to get the victory himself. He was just in there. But Bivol couldn't hurt him. And the guy was strong enough in the early rounds to sling Bivol all over the ring. And if you're thinking about Bivol getting in there with Beterbiev, that's not going to work out for Bivol either. But no. That fight was not fixed, bro. You don't fix people headbutting folks intentionally and hitting them low and throwing elbows and everything thinking they gonna bully somebody. And then when that person rises to fight back and take the fight out of the bully, that the fight is now fixed. Because the guy you may have thought you wanted to win didn't, don't mean the fight is fixed. Go look at Brown's face after the fight. He got pummeled. Huh? It's probably the worst he ever looked after a fight. And he thought he was a bully. But he found out what bullying really means. Huh? And when Beterbiev decided to start going to that body, he had to change his underwear after that. And that's what happens when you have a fighter of conviction. I just spent a few minutes giving the example of that speaking about that, and it flew over everybody's head, including you, Mr. Davenport, because then you, after I said all that, you wrote that super chat. That fight was not fixed, bro. Marcus Brown got his ass whooped. And he was ill prepared. There are some fighters in that division. He could have gone out there and headbutt and elbow and hit low and bully around, and they may have caved into that. Not this guy. Reggie and I talked about it on the post-fight show, about who he is, his faith, how he lives, what he believes in, all of that stuff. It ain't supposed to mean anything. What do Marcus Brown believe in?
God knows. I have no idea.
But I bet you today he believes he can't beat Artur Beterbiev.
Yeah, probably.
Got his ass out of the ring before they could decide to interview him. He was already gone.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the character in that? Huh?
No, it doesn't.
The convictions in that. You guys that want to support this guy. You guys that was out there talking about, yeah, I got to go with Brown, man. I can see. Where was he to stand in the ring and be a man and say, hey, man, that guy whooped my... Nowhere to be found. And the funny thing about it, Beterbiev is the kind of guy that would have went over to him, give him a hug, say good fight, man, whatever, because that's who he is as a person. Remember, I told you, I'm in touch with John Scully, who trains him. I know these things. But Brown was gone. Where was Derek James saying, stand here and wait and see if they're going to give you an interview, bro?
I think Brown wanted James to throw in the towel so he can go back and say, oh, well, I would have continued if so-and-so hadn't thrown in the towel. But, I mean, I'm glad that, just my opinion, I know you believe that James should have stopped that earlier, but, I mean, this is how we see who you are. He's the boss. You know, it's the referee's job to stop the fight. So if he wants out, he should lay down and show that he wanted out, and he did just that. So
listen, man,
it proved what people thought about him. Some people thought about him. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not just what people thought about him, but it's what you need to think about people like him, because the character traits are consistent, Tyrone. They're very consistent. You can see this in this sport. You can see it in another sport. You can see it in your everyday life, okay? Because people are not being held accountable, bro. That's why they could behave like that. Had he somehow won the fight, he would have snatched the microphone from the interviewer's hand and tell the world how bad he is, and everybody could kiss his rear end and all of that, right? Yeah, that's the kind of person he is.
Yeah, it is. Did you see, it's kind of a bit, no, I thought it was just, I didn't like it. I mean, the day before the press conference, like the announcer doesn't have to do any of this stuff, right? I mean, he's just there to read some of his cards and move on. But he actually tried to take time out of his day to get to know Brown's background and everything like that, and he knew he was from Staten Island. So on the card that he got from somebody else, it said that he was from Dallas. But as he said that, he said, no, this is wrong. I know you're from Staten Island, but you're saying Dallas. I know you just moved to Dallas to train with, what's his name? Derek James. And then Marcus Brown says, oh, yeah, I'm from Staten Island. Fuck whatever he talking about. He completely misunderstood what the announcer tried to do, actually knew that he was from Staten Island, just a misunderstanding with the card. And he just tried to use that to get on him because he was already rattled fight week. So I mean, it all backfired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So he got some Christmas money, and that's all it is.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something. When you cave in like that the first time, it gets easier after that. It gets easier. That's why you heard me question, where was Derek James to say, hey man, wait right here and see if they're gonna give you a post-fight interview. Because he don't wanna answer the questions. He don't wanna face the truth and the reality. And when someone like Derek James allow him that out, that's how he's been living his life. I wouldn't do that. You got to stand here and be a man through it all. The same guy that was throwing low blows need to stand there and tell him, why were you throwing the low blows? You know, in that movie Rocky 3, when he was fighting the Russian, they had that song playing in there, There's No Easy Way Out. Yeah. That was a perfect song for that film at the time. Because the thing about it is, boxing is a sport where it's laid out before you as that. And your character is developed along the course of your development of your career of participating in the sport. And if your mentors are forgetting that part of it to teach you, you will fail miserably when you do fail. Yeah. Because you were never prepped for embracing real victory.
Mm-hmm.
Evander Holyfield used to talk about that a lot during his career. Even when he lost, he was like, you know, I still got the victory. What he means is being able to do his best. He knows if he did his best or not. You don't know. You just saw him lose, but you don't. Was that his best on that night? But when he tells you, yeah, I did my best. He goes into training for the rematch. He comes back out and he says, well, I realized that first time around, I thought I might have done my best, but I realized there was some things I could change and I can come back and do this. See, that's a man standing up, standing in his convictions and understanding that what you portray, you put out there into the universe is important because there are other people that feel just like you. That's why these guys don't realize you got boxing fans that they live vicariously through you, but if you are projecting BS, they're living vicariously through the BS that you're projecting.
Right.
We got Pete Davenport out here in the super chat again. I see it come up before it chimes. He says, I sent the chat in already when you was talking about Pernell and Chavez. Okay. He said, but I respect your boxing knowledge and my apologies on the first super chat, not greeting you on saying peace, my brother. Hey, man, it's not personal, man. I appreciate your super chat. And, you know, when I'm out here, and you're right, it's like sometimes the chats can come in later, they'll come in early, whatever. So no problem. I appreciate your support and stick around because you're always going to hear me saying some stuff, man. And you don't have to agree with me. You know what I mean? You don't. But I appreciate that. See, now the super chat just popped up, but the chime came after the chat went off the screen. See, that's beyond my doing there. But yeah, Tyrone, what else you got, man? Otherwise, I can, get someone else to call in. I appreciate you calling. I was wondering, I was like, I hadn't heard from him, so it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, people say that my voice is different on the phone and versus the computer. Sometimes online, like I don't know what it is. But if it's me or just my devices, it's probably my devices I need to look into and see what's going on. But yeah, I won't hold up any more time. I'll let somebody else hop on, man. But thanks for letting me on, and I hope there's, we can chop it up later on with some even better fights.
Yeah,
And,
and don't be a stranger. Call in to the call-in show, man, anytime. It's always, and now that you've spoken a little bit, I can recognize your voice now, but when you first called in, I wasn't recognizing it. But I know your voice inflection now. I understand. But you're always welcome
you're not
to call
the only
in.
one. It's happened before several times with other people, so I gotta check what's going on with my computer, my cell phone too. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, peace
All
to
right,
you,
man.
bro, and take care, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care. Have a good one.
Great call from Tyrone. That's my brother there. But let's see. Trying to catch back up on some of these chats. You guys are laughing out there. Can't tell what you're laughing at. Picasso was saying you got a good point. He says Marcus Brown believes in winning but can't handle losing. He probably hurt beyond keeping his composure and answering questions. Yeah, man, that's why I said I would make the guy stand there, be a man up. You know what I mean? That's the other part of mentoring and mentorship that people don't want to acknowledge. You have to have that complete package. Okay, we got 816 in the building. Welcome to the show. Who's calling and what's on your mind?
What's up, Storm? What's up, Stormy? This is KP from KC. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir. I hear you just fine. What's good with you, KP? Good to hear from you again.
Boxing Fanatics Unite. But I seen they made the Spence Ugas set up or whatever.
Yeah.
This is my thoughts on that, Stormy. And I know a lot of people ain't thinking this, but Ugas will get Spence more prepared for Terrence Crawford than anybody else that he fought. And the reason I'm saying that is because Ugas knows how to take your jab away. Took Pacquiao's jab away. People don't pay attention to that, but if you go back and watch that fight, he took that right hand away. So this is going to show us what adjustments Spence is going to have, because if he fights Crawford, he's going to need to be able to adjust. I'm a Spence fan, but I also know certain fighters got to go through certain fighters in order for them to be able to grow and for them to be able to get better. And Ugas makes him better if he can handle the style and if he can beat the style. Not just bulldoze the style. You got to be able to think through the process and beat that style. What you think about that, Stormy?
Well, only thing I can tell you is Ugas is no Crawford, bro. Otherwise,
he's not.
Otherwise, he'd be at the top of the pound for pound list.
Oh, I know he's not no Crawford. I know he's not no Crawford, but that size and that reach is going to give you. Because if we think about it, I guess Spence hasn't fought nobody his height since Kell Brook.
Well, Crawford fought Jose Benavidez, who's bigger than both of them.
No. Yeah, Benavidez, was almost 6 feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and Benavidez was doing similar things that Ugas did to Pacquiao.
Yeah.
As far as taking that jab away and things of that nature. So, I'm just saying that fight is going to tell a lot of people about what's going to go on. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to see some things and how things will shake out in that kind of fight. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying who's going to win or who's going to lose. I'm a Spence fan. I want Spence to win, but I just want to see what he does
well, that's obvious.
in the ring.
That's obvious. You don't have to say that, when you come in.
Yeah, but Stormy, I want to see what he does. I want to see what he does.
No, but I'm being sarcastic right now. I'm saying
yeah,
you don't have to tell us that. We kind of understand that, and But listen, I just want the fight to take place because it's about damn time these good guys fight each other, man. That's the damn problem.
Yeah, they got to fight.
It's like
they got to fight.
Listen,
they got to fight.
I loved watching Leonard and Hearns, the first fight. I definitely tuned in for the second fight, which was 7.5 years later. But it's like those two guys, neither one of them are my favorite fighter, but I go back and watch both of their fights from history because they were two bad dudes. You understand? And they had two great fights, and both of them won in spectacular ways that are their own. Leonard had his flair or whatever, and Hearns had his hit list of opponents. And Hearn got hit by guys, and knocked out by guys. So it's like, that's the wonderful thing about boxing, man. And to take a loss, whether Bud takes a loss or Spence takes a loss, that's a part of life. You ever lost anything in life? Lost a pair of shoes, you lost your keys, you lost your wallet. It all hurts the same because you invest in these things and you take time or whatever. But over time, don't you get over it a little bit? You do. Or you get beyond it.
You got to.
And I'm not talking about something as significant as death. So for you guys out there, well, you never get over that. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about things that you can come back from naturally in life because time moves on. With death, you always carry the person that you lost in you, with you, your life experience with them. I'm not talking about that. So please don't try to diminish the point I'm trying to make. You understand? But
no, I got you.
Those two men should have fought each other 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah, they gotta fight. Yeah, they gotta fight. They gotta fight. They gotta fight. So
the reason that
Tyson and Holyfield, I don't know how they about to set this thing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the reason that Tyson and Holyfield happened many years later was all Mike Tyson's fault. All of it. One, he didn't fight Holyfield when he was supposed to. Then Buster Douglas got in the way. Then, prison got in the way. Okay? And even when he came back from that, he wasn't thinking about Holyfield until he saw Holyfield's horrible performance against Bobby Chairs. And Don King convinced him, I think he on his way out now, Mike. You can get him now. So Mike was like, okay. And then next thing you know, Mike found out that all Holyfield ever wanted was him because he was the one that everybody said, if you can't beat this guy, you ain't the heavyweight champion and blah, 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 blah. And he tore Mike a new one. Tore him a new one. Yep. Now, I'm going to bring that home for you exclusively.
Go ahead.
Bud wants Spence just like that, like Holyfield wanted Tyson, because he knows if he beats that guy, your guy, what will you be able to say after that?
There's
so be careful.
Say, but he's the man.
No, listen, I'm making a great point here. So be careful, because there are certain fighters that have a certain mentality, bro, and they will walk through gunfire to get what they want, not just to satisfy themselves, but to prove and make a point.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right about that. We've been watching boxing for years, and certain fighters got it.
That's an X factor.
That's it.
And there's no measurement that can be placed on that. I can't measure your desire for what you want for yourself, because that's what you want for yourself. You can't measure mine. And so when we come to that impasse, it's like, wow, how bad do he want this? He wants it so bad. I couldn't go to that length, man. You see what I'm saying? That's what happens in life.
Yeah.
And this is why you have to always leave something on the table for that intangible, like my man Kurt Sugar likes to say, the intangible, because you never know.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go, man. I'm listening to the chat. Can't wait to see these fights, man. They gotta make the fight.
Yeah. And let me say this one more thing before you go. I'm gonna say this one more thing. I want you to listen to me very clearly.
I'm listening.
Ugas ain't Crawford, bro.
Oh, I know he ain't. I'm just saying as far as the.
I'm just messing with you, KP.
You know what I mean. You know I know that. Come on, I'm just saying take as far as taking the jab away. I want to see what's going to be the adjustment that they can make. Because like you and I said, you said the same thing I said. Beater Beer was going to kill Marcus Brown, and he did. I don't
know how people didn't see that coming, man. I don't know why
people didn't see it. Yeah, they wanted to think that somebody was going to change somebody overnight. No, that's not going to happen. Beater BF is a dog. And he did him just like I thought he was going to do. It was almost a Drago type of victory. That's almost what it was. But I'm going to let you go, man. I'm going to listen in.
All right, bro. Thanks for your call, man. Don't be a stranger. All right. Peace. Great call from KP from KC, man. Yes, sir. I'm reading through some of you guys' chats, man. You guys are funny, man. I see you, Jeffrey H. Lopez. I see you out there, man. Same to you, bro. Same to you. Picasso says, Stormybman, my memory is slowly deteriorating. I'm going to need smart family members like yourself to keep up the good work. Picasso, you a trip, man. Hamza S. says, a real man doesn't put his hands on a woman repeatedly. Take that however you want. I don't care. Yeah, I hear you, bro. Who else we got out here? We got anybody else want to call in? The lines are open. Feel free. Yeah. Just reading up on some of your comments while I was talking to the guest on the line. Boxing and barbecues talking about Lamont Peterson. He said, Stormy, we going to get undisputed next year. I believe, God willing. We might. Somebody might, man up. Give us a chance to do that. Who else we got out here? Hamza S. He says, mentally, Mike was always weak. Robin might have been the one to set it off, though. While I idolized him as a kid, he never won a fight that mattered, and I've seen him quit several times. Wow, that's a mic drop right there. Literally, Mike and Mike. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So where you guys at, man? Nobody wants to call in now? Numbers on the screen. Don't be a stranger. Call on in. Let's talk some more. Hamza S. says, as Stormy, what happened to the fundamentals? I saw Brown wasn't able to clinch Arthur. It's professional boxing, so why didn't he? Because he couldn't think under pressure. The things that you would do naturally, he couldn't do them. He was all over the place mentally. But I still would have loved to hear what were the instructions given by his corner. That's the one thing that puts the fight in a different regard for me. I would like to know what his corner's instructions were in between rounds. They kept showing Bitterbeef, but they weren't showing Brown's corner. Picasso says, I'm over here cooking some eggs and toast. Yeah, That's what I had this morning too. Some eggs, toast, and oatmeal. Okay, we got 214 in the building. Welcome to the show. Who's calling and what's on your mind?
Dallas, Texas, 704 Joe.
704 Joe in the building. What's good with you, man?
Man, it's a great show, man. Sometimes you just sit and listen, man. You just sit and take it in. You know? Sit, take it in. I'm kind of at work back and forth. I just want your opinion. I think I heard it already. I'm not sure. Benavidez and Canelo.
Benavidez and Canelo is a murder, death, burial for Canelo by the hands of Benavidez. That fight won't take place because Canelo does not want to be in there with anyone that can chew him up and spit him out. And that's Benavidez. Now, a person who could defeat him possibly is David Benavidez, and he don't even want that smoke with David. And understand the difference of how I said the losses would be. A potential loss to David Benavidez could make him look bad. You know, Benavidez be strong enough to take his punches, wear him down, beat him up. And David Benavidez is really young. Now with Artur Beterbiev, that's a whole different type of brutalization, man. And there's something that really tells me that Canelo ain't the toughest guy in the world. He's not, because he refuses to test himself. You guys have had, you got to look at the writing on the wall. He has gone in with a myriad of guys he's always had some type of advantage against. That can't be denied. So now you're talking about him going in there where he would not have an advantage against someone who is a brutalizing champion killer who will walk through hellfire to get you, who can cut the ring off, who can apply pressure, who can batter you to a pulp. No, he's not going in there with Beterbiev. That's all. That was all talk when he was going into winning that last belt for 168 pounds. That's good copy, as they say in the news business. That makes for good copy. Gives people stuff to talk about. But there is no way in hell that Saul Canelo Alvarez would be in the ring with Artur Beterbiev. And if he were to go in there, it just would show how stupid of a guy he's become. But I don't think he's become stupid. He's very smart and sly like a fox, because he sold you on he being a good fighter. And he is, but he's not as good as he's made out to be, because I just laid it out for you. He's beaten a lot of guys that he has always had advantages to make him look good.
Yeah. Canelo kind of remind me of the basketball player that's padding the record book.
There you go. There you go.
With that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Throw the ball off the backboard 3 or 4 times to get 4 or 5 more rebounds.
Yeah. Sensei, you dropped a jewel earlier, man, that I caught, and I caught it, man. It was, and one about one of the greats, Ali, man, when you said the third fight with Norton.
Yeah.
He couldn't, Ali liked to throw a punch and touch your nose, throw a punch, touch your nose. I never noticed that he was missing his nose in the third fight, man. I never noticed that.
No. I was saying when he went for his medical test, when they test you,
okay, I got you.
They have you do certain things like lift your leg a certain way and this and that. And then when you hold your arms out, spread eagle like, and then they say, bring your finger to your nose.
Yeah.
And when he was doing that test, he was missing his nose.
Right. Well, you know what? That made it even worse.
Exactly.
Because
That's
I
a
knew Ali when he
neurological
punched.
test.
When Ali punched, he would touch his nose. You knew. I mean, you know that he would touch his nose after a punch.
Right.
Touch his nose after his own nose after the punch. I was like, well, he was missing his nose. But
Yeah, that
that's
was
even
during
worse,
the,
man.
the clinic.
If you can't pass the physical, that's even worse.
Well, see,
Yeah.
he had guys that were still, you know, passing him on, and that's the thing, because he was Ali. But it's like most other guys, they when they give you those tests and you fail those tests, they'll tell you can't fight, because that's a neurological thing where you should if you go to touch your nose and you miss it, that's pretty bad.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Pacheco was probably, him and probably a couple others was the only one saying, no more, man. I can't be a part of this no more.
That's why
No
Pacheco left Ali after the Thriller in Manila. He left him
That
because
was it.
he
That
was
was
like,
been-
I
that would've been a great
can't
time to
stand
die.
around and watch this guy, you know, because he's gonna end up, you know, in a bad way. That Ferdy Pacheco said that, man.
Right. Man, then say, I'm just going to sit back, man, and do the knowledge, man. Sit
Yeah,
back and listen.
I appreciate you, man. And don't worry, you know, your boy Spence, I think he ain't gonna have no problem with Ugas, man. You know,
He shouldn't. He shouldn't, man. He
KP
shouldn't.
from KC, he called in, you know, he was saying, you know, hey, Ugas can take the jab away. But Spence is a better fighter than Ugas, man. Better
But
fighter.
everybody knew he was going to fight one more time, and Bud's going to fight one more time. They
Right.
both going to fight. If it don't happen in 22, Sensei, I'm done. If it don't happen in 22, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with that fight. If it don't happen in 22, man.
I agree, man, because
Right.
you know what? We got to move on to other things in life, man. You know what I mean?
Okay, one more thing. 60-40. I'm for the 60-40. How you see it? I'm for the 60-40, man.
I don't really care about the money aspect of it. I just want them to get their asses in the ring, bro. That's the thing I want. I just want them to get their asses in the ring. And
Well, you're dealing with two big egos, man. Two. My person too, man. Two big egos.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they also need to take a look at history and look at the fights that were supposed to be made that didn't get made, and how those guys' egos played a big part in, or the management of those guys, you know, played a big part in. And that's the whole thing, man. Because boxing was before they came on the scene, and it's going to be after they leave the scene. That's what they need to realize.
Right. Well, like I say, 22, man. I give him one more year, man. And that's it. I give him one more year.
I feel you. 1,000%.
All right, dude.
Okay,
Love
man.
the show, man.
Thanks for calling,
right,
bro. Peace.
Yep.
I want to say salute to Pete Davenport out there again with that super chat. He's back in the house. He says, I'm still in the building, good brother. And reasons like never showing the corner of Browns so we can even get a chance to say why he's not listening to his trainer. Yeah, man. You know, I acknowledge that. I saw that. And thank you again, Pete Davenport, for your super chat. Much appreciated. The fact that they do kind of stuff like that, you know, when you notice it, you have to acknowledge it and say something about it so it don't come off as one-sided when you're saying certain things. I didn't see enough of the camera being in the corner for Brown for us to get some kind of knowledge about what his people may have been saying, you know, and that sucks at the end of the day, because it's like, you know, they could have been given some gems over there. We just didn't get a chance to hear them. You know what I mean? So that's what I meant by that, and appreciate you, man. Yeah, so and salute to Pete again, right back. Love and respect, bro. He says, I'm driving with the kids in the car. Don't roast me too bad on my super chat. They could hear it. Take it light on me. Oh no, man. I'm not roasting you, bro. I'm actually lifting you up. I say thanks again, man, because you've hit that super chat for me a few times in today's show, man. I am not looking to roast you, brother. Not looking to roast you at all. But thank you again. Hamza S says, Canelo's known for fighting smaller guys way past it, bringing them up to non-existent weight classes. This is documented. Then he ducks certain fighters. Absolutely. Weight drain clauses and all of that kind of stuff, and rehydration clauses, and, always some kind of stipulation with this guy. And people are not smart enough to just pay attention to the advantages that he enjoys like that. There's no way that Miguel Cotto should have had to fight him under the auspices that he did. Miguel Cotto was too good of a fighter, had gone through some personal situations with other fighters. So it's like, Canelo has always done these things and people give him a pass. But, I don't give him a pass. I speak about it and I keep it moving. But yeah, he's not a guy who, really, should be given much consideration. Not the consideration he's been given. Copper Aborigines is out there. Salute to you, bro. He says, Bud refusal of the 60-40 to keep the fight from happening, but he has the opportunity for 50-50 against Charlo. What is Bud going to do with that offer? Bud fans are quiet about that. It's 50-50 for now. Man, I don't know. These people keep talking about these money splits and everything. See, that's another terrible influence that Floyd has on the sport. If he had just kept it about fighting the best and everything, we had these guys out here killing each other. But the fact that he put that in there and start talking about pockets and economics and everything, you got all these guys thinking that they rule the sport of boxing. And they fight once a year. Get the hell out of here. Big Dose 513 is out there. He says, Stormy, just a serious guy like that, bro. He says, smack that like button, family. Copper is laughing. Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. These guys just won't get their butts in the ring. And the women are being more proficient at going in there and handling their business than the guys now. You see all these great fights that these women fighters are having, man? That can't be denied, Mr. Pass says, Hamza S., yes, I heard that Ajax might want Erickson because Inter released him due to, I don't know what that's, I don't know. Hamza S. says, Canelo couldn't KO guys in the smaller weight classes and was known to pass after round 7. But after he got caught juicing, he's been stomping bigger guys in the later rounds. Then the WBC upped the clean levels. Yeah, they probably just said, you can have it. Not the levels, but just you can have it. And remember Canelo doing that TV commercial where he was roasting a big piece of meat over a fire and drinking a beer? See, they make a mockery of us, bro. They make a true mockery of us. Okay, we got 513. We got 513, my man, Big Dose in the building. What's good with you, Big Dose?
Salute, big homie. Salute, man. What's good with you?
Oh, man. I can't call it, man. Just out here, doing the show.
Hey, man, I had to call in and show some love, man. You know what I'm saying, to my big homie, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I wanted to know if you heard about the news with Earl Spence and August.
Yeah, we were just talking about it a moment ago because my man 704 Joe called in to talk about that a little bit, and KP from KC also. So yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Spence fight Ugas, Spence beat Ugas, is the WBA then going to turn around and start pulling his stunny on this bull crap with Spence?
It's possible.
Does he win the belt?
It's possible because they move funny as I don't know what, man. That's a funny moving organization right there, man, full of racists and everything, man. You know, so I wouldn't put anything past those people, man.
Because if they do that, people really gonna be mad. Really gonna be mad because that's gonna hold up the Spence Crawford fight that much more. That could push that out to 2023.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like late 2023.
Yep.
At that. Because the Ugas fight already gonna be in 2022, like the early part of 2022. So if we get done with that fight, then they talking about 2 Mandos. Come on, man. They should make Stanionis fight or Bob or whatever his name is. Go ahead and get that bet out the way. So if they do try to force a Mando on Spence immediately, at least you only have to fight one guy.
Right.
That seems like the solution to that.
I just don't know what they're gonna do, man. I haven't thought about it that far yet because I don't want to put that type of mental stress on myself. But you raise a very valid point there. Will they try to give Spence that problem if he defeats Ugas over that belt, man?
I'm sure they will, because you think about it, they've been ordered to cut them belts down. All the sanctioning bodies got together, and that's what they decided on. They need to cut them belts down. So they've been ordered to do that, so they got to do it. So it's like they under the gun, and so that's messing over the fans.
Right.
Because the bull crappery that they done pulled all these years.
Let me get to this super chat real quick, bro. Let me get this super chat. We got another super chat from Pete Davenport out there. Salute, brother. Appreciate you. He says, I believe Canelo gonna suffer the same fate Pacquiao did. He's gonna get knocked out cold for his cheating ways. As long as he gets in there with someone who can do it to him. See, that's the thing. He knows how to fight guys who are not on his level. He knows that. It's almost like a practice of his. And that's what I don't like about that guy. And another comment in the chat real quick that I like to say something about. Hamza S. says, I'll give Canelo this. He always stays composed, rarely flinches and bites on feints. He really fights like a professional. I'll give him that. That's because he's not fighting anybody that can put feints on his ass along with laying some leather on his ass that will make him respond to feints and stuff. He's fighting guys who are basically entering the ring with him in awe of him. Wouldn't you agree with that, Big Dose?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because they all hug on his nuts, man. And I don't understand why, though.
And we got the biggest proof of that from his fight with Caleb Plant. When Caleb Plant in that 9th round or whatever, when the mics caught him saying, hey, I'm pretty good for this record or whatever his record is, right? I was like, they had the audio right there. He in awe of Canelo.
Man, I don't understand why, because it ain't like Canelo been beating world beaters his whole career. Like, he had a few good fights, but he ain't had nowhere near the career of Mayweather.
And check this out.
Nowhere near.
Check this out, Big Dose. He fighting those guys, the Rocky Fieldings and the Callum Smiths and all of that, and then he gonna tell Demetrius Andrade, you're a horrible fighter. You fought nobody. Well, if he's so horrible, fight him like you fought the other horrible guys. Because that's what they were. They were horrible.
Horrible mean equals you too good.
Yeah, in his language, yeah.
In his language. You know what I'm saying? I might lose to you. That's what that means. That's what horrible means. You horrible, I might lose to you. That's what that means in Canelo talk. You know, Canelo just, I don't know, man.
that really pisses me off when these black boxers give him such praise because he ain't did nothing for real. In my opinion, I ain't high on him like other people is. You know what I'm saying? I'm still really not a fan of his. For real. He ain't made
But
me
dude,
no
that's
fan.
why his own countrymen, guys like Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, even Julio Cesar Chavez to a smaller degree, these men have Barrera. They don't give him the credit of being that, macho Mexican fighter that respects or gets respect because he has avoided certain guys that could have given him that. And that's why they don't like him. See, that's the thing.
Right.
If he had faced the guys he should have faced and defeated them, you would have to give it to him. But you hold something in reserve because he has not done the job. That's the thing. If he had done the job, bar none, he the man. But because listen, man, I'm telling you today, listen, Demetrius Andrade, more than the Charlo brothers, okay, more than David Benavidez, is the one guy he should face. You know why? Do you know why I say that?
Why you say that?
Because Demetrius Andrade, his style, his tool set, his boxing acumen is the antithesis of what Canelo is, and it's what Canelo's problems are. That guy fights with the type of, like, when he fought to Austin Trout, he fought Lara, he fought Floyd. That type of skill set amongst those men, Andrade has that. And that's why he won't fight him, because those were the guys that give him his toughest fights and defeat, and he doesn't want to reface that.
Right.
That's it right there in a nutshell, bro. That is 1,000% it.
I can't sit here and lie. I ain't really seen a lot of Andrade's fights. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know why people so high on me, but it must be something, because a lot of people believe that he is one of the people that can beat Canelo, that could possibly beat.
Even the Charlos ain't looking to fight him now. They're not looking to fight him.
Historian and specialist, I believe it. You know what I'm saying? If you say it, I believe it. But it's a few people that, in my opinion, need to fight. Andrade is one. Benavidez is another one, and Charlo is another one. You got only 3 people out here, bro, that people really want to see you fight, and you can't fight one of them. At least fight Benavidez. He's in the weight class that you just claimed to conquer. But you don't want to take the chance of losing.
Yeah, it's bad, bro. It's bad. But I'm telling you, his abilities are of that same ilk of those guys. And that's why he won't fight this guy.
Let me ask you something, Stormy. Do you think Benavidez could possibly beat him?
Yeah, but Benavidez presents a different type of picture because, and he presents a different problem because of his height, his reach, his hand speed, his strength, and his physicality and his youth, because the guy is only like 24 years old. You understand? But he's 6 foot tall. He has a range and reach like a light heavyweight, a true light heavyweight, but he's strong and his hand speed is good. He can take punches. He grew up being a fat kid, okay? So he was like 200 pounds, okay? So he's legitimate. And the style that he has is a pressure come towards you style. Canelo is not a stick and move type fighter.
Right.
He's the type of fighter that wants to be able to come after the other guy in the event that he either has to or he can adjust to. He don't want the guys hunting him down because he's not comfortable with that.
Right.
Go back and watch his fights. He's accustomed to people moving away from him or standing and circling him or something like that, where he has to make adjustments to them and go after him. But he has not been the pursued. And David Benavidez has that pursuing style, smothering. And guess who else has it? Artur Beterbiev, who I told these guys just a little while ago in this show that whole talk about possibly fighting Beterbiev, that was all smoke screens, because that's definitely not a guy he wants to get in there with.
No, sir. No, sir. I think it would be very interesting to see how Canelo fights on the back foot. But we do notice about Canelo, he is an excellent counterpuncher, okay? But what would Canelo do when he counterpunching a guy and the guy's still standing there, though? You see, and still throwing shots back.
He gonna get messed up. That's what's gonna happen to him. It ain't hard to figure this out, bro. 1 + 1 will always equal 2. It ain't gonna equal 5, huh? And no matter what planet Canelo think he on, is always gonna be somebody like me there to tell him you're wrong, huh? That's I take stock in that, because he don't fool me, man. He got bad wheels, okay, knees, okay, and the thing is, he can't get out of the way of people. Yes, he can bob and weave and move at the waist and all of that, but against a guy that's coming on, bringing it to you, banging you to the body and really putting that pressure on, he got to fight. And that's the thing. He can't really fight. He can box, but his boxing ability is centered around basically he being better than the other guy. What guy has he fought that he had to pull a victory out and prove he was better than the other guy? Nobody.
Right.
He even fought a faded Triple G when they were talking about them fighting like 2 or 3 years earlier, right? And Canelo wouldn't do it. When he finally got in there with Triple G had already started to slip. Triple G is falling off the cliff now. Okay?
Right.
So these things are very easy and readily detectable, man. Canelo don't fool me, man. He don't fool me at all. He goes up there and he fights Sergey Kovalev on a short notice and everything, after the guy had a trying hard fight where Anthony Yarde really beat him up and should have knocked him out. Okay? But he goes up there and fight Kovalev. Why didn't he fight Anthony Yarde?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. And when people say, well, Kovalev won the fight, but didn't we see him fight some other guys that lost the fight and didn't fight the guy who won? Like Benavidez just recently beat this guy and said, hey, I deserve my fight against Canelo, and Canelo's going to vacate belts and go up to cruiserweight now. No, you ain't fooling me with that, man.
But you know what, though, Stormy? I'm glad he did fight Yarde, because Yarde wasn't ready mentally. Yarde wasn't ready.
But can I tell you this, though?
Wait a minute, hold on. He wasn't ready conditioning-wise. The new Yarde, since he done been beat twice, this new Yarde, because I seen him come back and rematch the guy that beat him last, and he just knocked him out last week. And I think the new Yarde is ready, because he realized.
Hold on, Big Dose. Slow down. This is what I was going to say. Even off of that loss, Yarde has the ability to beat Canelo because he has the athleticism. He has that rhythmic and perpetual motion, everything that gives the dude trouble. Remember, I said this about Lara. I said it about Trout. I said it about Mayweather. It's like those are what are his Achilles, bro. He ain't fighting those type of guys. Demetrius Andrade is that type of guy. He don't want to fight him. He is not going to fight those people. No matter what you say, if you try to push him in the ring, he'll gnarl and bite and snap at you and get the hell out of there because he ain't gonna do it. You can't force him. And his people are not asking of him. That's the worst of it. Because it will take his own people to turn on him and be like, look, man, we're tired about these guys saying that you don't want to fight nobody, that you don't want to fight these athletic fighters and everything. We're tired. You're going to have to show something. You're going to have to show that you the real Mexican representative and get out there for the people. See, they ain't going to do that now because we're living in such a pacifist society now that people just want to celebrate, even if you're not even if you're not being challenged. They just want to put you in, put you in stone as the warrior and everything, even if you haven't proven it. That's what they want now. That's why I look at all these guys that's outside of the, we're just talking about the Latin base, right? When you look at these other guys, like people who were talking about Brown, going in there and trying to defeat Bitterbeef. I knew that Brown was going to get his head tore off, but there were people that said they just want to support the guy. They just want, that's my man, we got to support our people. Not when our people ain't good. And you got to be honest with yourself. He ain't good.
Right.
And that's the worst thing. It's like, because I could come down on him for not being really that good, you're going to get mad at me for saying it. No, I'm saying it across the board. We're looking at the same thing with Canelo Alvarez. He ain't that good. He's good, but he ain't that good as they're making him out to be because he hasn't checked all of the boxes. You check all of the boxes and you complete that process, I have to take my hat off to you and give you your credit. But since you won't do it, you try to erase the boxes, you try to tear the paper up and throw it in the wastebasket and pretend like you didn't finish the questionnaire. I can't give it to you. I can't.
Right. That's where I'm at with it, Stormy. That's where I'm at with it, brother. That's why, Andrade checks two of them boxes that he really don't like. He can move, he can box, he got pop, and the other boxes he black. You know what I'm saying? There was two boxes Canelo don't like. Because his only defeat came to what? That type of fighter. So, and his other fights that was close, that type of fighter. So, I doubt if Andre ever get a shot at Canelo. Ever. So he might as well move on and make a name for his damn self. But don't nobody want to fight the guy. Not even Charlo.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. You look at fighters of today, this is the truth-telling serum here. When they don't want to fight somebody, it's because of what they're trying to protect. You, as a champion, are required to defend all challenges, all potential challenges for you out there. These guys, this guy, I don't want to fight him. Nobody knows him. Those BS excuses, bro. Nobody knew Marcus Brown. Nobody knew Arthur Bitterbeef. But they put on a fight. And now when people saw Bitterbeef go out there, blood rushing from his skull and everything, and beat that man down with body shots, they're like, hey, I want to see this guy again. You understand? That's true boxing right there.
Right. And that's what make people excited to see you, man, when you taking on all comers. That's why I back up Wilder and Spence so much, man. That's why they're my two favorite fighters. Because they don't back down from nobody. They don't be like, I don't want him. No. They take all comers. And they want the best. They want the best, man. People think Spence is scared of Bud or Bud is scared of Spence. Come on, man.
Check this out. I'll give you an example that took place last night on the Zone card, the De La Hoya promotion. we had that kid Lamont Roach Jr. taking on Rene Alvarado of the Alvarado brothers, and he's the older brother. He's like 32. They were saying going into that fight last night that Alvarado, if he had lost some big fights, if he loses this fight, he's gonna retire or whatever. Man, that kid came out, and I call him kid because he's young enough to be a kid of mine, but he came out there, Big Dose, and he fought his butt off against Lamont Roach. But I gave him only 1 or 2 rounds in that 10 rounds that they fought. But he took punches on the chin that would have knocked other guys on their butt if knocked them out. He fought his heart out. Do you hear what I'm saying? Alvarado. And I tip my hat to the guy because as the fight got later, it got a little tougher for Lamont because Lamont was, he very good defensive fighter. I mean, he was catching punches with his gloves off his shoulders. He was boxing very nicely. And he was landing the cleaner, more solid blows, had the better hand speed. But Alvarado fought his butt off, man. And he was in every round. Some of the rounds could have been even closer and been swayed to him. But the whole point of it is he can hang his head high because he gave that type of effort. We ain't seen an effort like that out of Canelo Alvarez since he fought Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd, as he said in his own words, said, I was damn near 40 years old when I fought Canelo, and he couldn't beat me then. Remember, he didn't fight the young pretty boy Mayweather. He fought Money Mayweather. So it's like all of this, and you're trying to base what he's accomplished on he couldn't beat a damn near 40-year-old guy who was good. And now is considered great. So, dude, he still got homework. You understand? He got homework, bro. And we shouldn't let him off the hook for that.
I won't. I'll never let him off the hook for it. For real. He got a lot to do and prove, man, to get up over the cheating allegations for me. You know what I'm saying? A lot, because I feel like he's still cheating. Just like BLTB said, man, the WBC has not come out and said what is acceptable levels of clenbuterol now.
They're waiting for another situation to happen before they tell you. See, if another situation happens, then they'll say, well, that's not the acceptable level. The acceptable level is actually higher than that. See, that's what they're doing. See, they play these games. This is why you have to hold these people accountable. I tell you, Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens and myself, we talk about these things, and we talk about it on our air when we do the Friday night chop session and the post fights. That's the whole reason why you should listen to us, because we question these things. We don't beat a dead horse, but we always raise the issue. Just like I opened today's show by talking about allowing these people to make every fight a damn pay-per-view fight, a TV-worthy fight. They putting it on pay-per-view now because they're trying to gouge the pockets of the boxing public, the paying public, in knowing that these guys that they putting on these cards, they can't sell. And the promoters are so lazy that they don't want to promote the fighters, a.k.a. Bob Arum and some of the other promotional groups. So they'll throw something on pay-per-view, making you pay for that when it's not even pay-per-view worthy. So you can say no to that and they'll stop doing it. But collectively, we have to do it as a collective boxing fan base. This is not trying to tell somebody we don't want to pay for no pay-per-views. We are trying to say, give us real fights that are pay-per-view worthy. Put the other shit on TV so we can watch it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and that's what I've been doing, though, Stormy. If I feel like it ain't pay-per-view worthy, I don't pay for it. I'd stream it. You know what I'm saying? With technology nowadays, people can just stream so easy. But if it's one that I feel is worthy of being paid for, I support it and I pay for it. And that's what I've been doing. I paid for Bud versus Porter. Me and my wife went out of town for our anniversary, and we watched that on a big screen in the hotel room. Paid for that. You know what I'm saying? I paid for all Spencer's pay-per-view, all Wilder's pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying? But if I feel like it ain't worthy of pay-per-view, I'm not paying for it. I done paid for a few Tank's pay-per-views, but once I felt like I knew who was going to win, I'm not paying for that. If I know who's going to win, are you crazy?
Right. Right.
In order for me to pay for it, I got to not know who the hell going to win the damn fight. That's first and foremost. Secondly, it's got to be significant for me. You know, so if it ain't both of them things, I'm not paying for it. I'm string along, ring, ring, ring along. I'm streaming. You know
Say that, man. Say that. I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm gonna jump back in the chat, big homie, and you know, keep on rocking with you. Hey, y'all smash that like button if you ain't smashed it. You know what I'm saying? Support the brother. Like and share the video, man. You know, and keep on rocking with each other, man. Much love to everybody in the chat, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I appreciate you, man. Great talking points you brought in, man.
For sure. You already know, big homie.
All right. Take care, bro.
You too.
Peace. Yeah, great call by Big Dose, man. Great call. But that's pretty much going to bring us to the end because I'm past my little time limit there, and we got other people out here trying to do their thing as well. So I'm going to get on with it. But, man, I'm going to tell you, we had some good conversation today. Very good conversation today. And I appreciate everybody that participated. And to the brother out there that supported the show today, man. We got my man Pete Davenport. Man, you're a good brother, man, and I want to let you know, always come around here, man. I'm always give you a shout out here, man. You really helped us out today, and I respect you being out here and supporting me like you did today, man. But yeah, this whole thing with boxing, man, there are so many talking points. You know, a lot of people find some things to talk about repetitively. I don't do that. I try to open that thing up, man, because there's so much more we could be doing, you know, with the, conversation on boxing. And we should pay attention to that. We should definitely give consideration where it needs to go. And there's a lot of things to fix in boxing. There's still some stuff that needs to be taken care of. But just know I'm always going to do my part. You know what I'm saying? So, man, what a great show today, man. We really once we got cooking, boy, it was on, wasn't it? So, share the show, man. Share it on social media. Let people know we're doing some pretty good things out here on the Stormybman channel. Always quality conversation over here on the sport of boxing. And we do what we got to do, you know. But we're going to get on up out of here, man, so you guys can go and check out some of the other shows. And, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And Merry Christmas to everyone. And Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, all of that. You know, if I don't get a chance to greet you all on the airwaves again before this holiday that comes up. And just know that Stormy always going to have something to talk about here, right? Always going to have something to talk about. So it is, man. Once again, salute to the brother Pete Davenport out there with that super chat. Once again, saying thank you and God favor to you and the entire chat, man. We appreciate that, brother. We appreciate that. And, stick around, and it's always going to be something Stormy going to be throwing down. Huh? So much love to everybody out there. Peace Enjoy your Sunday. I think I'm going to go and get me some pizza, man. Stormy going to live the fat boy's life today. Somebody asked me earlier in the chat, did I enjoy Spider-Man? I sure did. It was very good. So I'm going to go. It's either going to be a Kung Fu Sunday for me, or it's going to be some movies, maybe some Rocky films today or something, man. But I'm going to have me some pizza to go with it. You better believe that, huh? Peace to you guys. Love all y'all. Catch you on the next one.